clothes, I will look for something which, there's a reason I don't buy from Zara, H&M. I mean, obviously, if I have to, I will. But for the longest time, I didn't shop from there, not because Zara was like expensive or anything, nothing like that. Can afford and all that. But it was because every second person started wearing it.
Yeah.
Thinking that is the fashion everyone is following. It's an international fashion. But I would rather not wear it because everyone has it in their wardrobe. Like there was a party where literally 2 people came with the same shoes and I'm like, okay, this is something I don't want.
This doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I think in the field of fast fashion, like now rapidly changing trends, like, Welcome to The Serial Designer. We have a very interesting profession and a person in the house today. She is a self-made fashion designer who has her own brand. Let's talk to her about marketing strategies, how she built her own brand. Welcome, KAVYA DOSHI. Please hit the subscribe button flashing on the screen. Also, drop in your comments as to what else do you all want to see in our podcast episodes. Thank you. Welcome, KAVYA DOSHI, to our channel. And we have a fashion designer in house today who is going to share her insights with us.
Yes.
Welcome, KAVYA.
Thank you for having me here.
So talking about fashion industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar global enterprise. And, globally there are n number of stakeholders, from fashion designers to logistics to retail to artisans, craftsmen, locally available, tailors. So in this whole jargon, you being a designer, what are your challenges that you face in the industry?
So there are like loads of challenges. Every person will face their own hiccups in the business. So this business itself is like, it takes a village to start this. Not demotivating, but having experience would make a lot of differences. So my biggest problem was not with the client, because I'm pretty confident with the client. I know what I'm talking. Biggest is the manpower, the challenges that I face with manpower. Because, in this industry, you are with uneducated people. They are skilled, but not educated. So kind of getting your work done from them is a big thing, because you might think it's so easy to, just ask them to do this. But you have to understand that they do not have the same level of skill set or the vision or even understanding, for that matter. Basic. Like if I would say, ye red kar do, they will put maroon. So you have to be very, very specific and come down to their level and talk to them that way. At the same time, you cannot lose your temper, because they'll stop doing your work, because they don't really care. From one, as you said, it's a very big industry.
Correct.
So one job to another, shifting is very easy for them. They are in this industry more than you, so they have more connections. And ye madam ke saath nahi jama, we'll go to another madam. Exactly. Or go to a company. And everyone is ready to just pay a little more higher. Even if it is, say, a mere amount of 200 rupees, they will still jump. So keeping your manpower, getting your work done from the manpower is one of the biggest, challenges and also skill set that you should be having.
So you started off with your own label quite early on in your career.
Yeah.
So is there an ideal situation, or you had backup, or how did it work for you to start your own label?
No, so like I didn't have any backup. I don't have a family background history of someone being a designer or someone being in this industry, be it like a cloth industry or anything. I just started as a mere, I was too interested in it from the start. Like from my school days, I used to draw like small little drawings of what I used to buy. And I used to also like design clothes for my mom when I was back in 8th grade. Okay. So I kind of knew very well that, I'm going to get into this. And obviously you have that interest, so you kind of try searching information about it. Then once I got into my college and everything, in my college we got a lot of guest lecturers who were presently the designers, so that ways. But I feel, like before getting into the business, your experience really counts. So that's one thing. I did my internship with a very renowned designer, and I did for like 6-7 months, but I just could be like, I was just able to learn the marketing, the sales pitching side. That's how I'm very confident with my clients. I never did like a workshop. Like I was there for 2 days, I remember, out of a 6 or 7 month thing, only 2 days at the workshop. So how much are you going to learn in that, right? So that was one thing that, I should have done it. But I feel your major thing learning comes on the go. So when you're on the job or in your own business, you will learn much quicker, much faster. But definitely, like,
So do you suggest like these budding fashion designers, budding students who are studying in these various courses, do you suggest them to sort of start thinking at the back of the mind, their own label? Because see, nowadays, everybody
Yeah.
wants to become, everybody wants their own personal style. Everybody has their own brand identity. Do you want people to sort of go towards that road? Or do you want people to do an internship first,
I
take their
feel
time?
internship plus job, because internship,
Okay.
the word internship comes with a very 6 month validity. It's like an unsaid thing, and then it goes on to a job. The amount of responsibilities you get on a job is way more higher, because till you're 6 month temporary, no one wants to teach you or invest in you so much. But the moment they start paying you, you get a lot of responsibilities with it. That's when you learn. I definitely recommend that they should be doing an internship job. Also, I would suggest that during their college time, when they have vacation, don't waste your time. I know it's like you're a student, you want to have fun,
Yeah,
you've got
but
some break, but I feel if you have a 2 month thing, do 1 month into this. It could be anything. And fashion industry is not just just starting your own label. You have styling, you have merchandising that the colleges do teach, but everyone entering the fashion college, they always think, I want to have a brand.
correct.
But that at the end of 3 or 4 years, it completely changes. So
So you don't know. So when a student is studying, he doesn't know what he's good at. Maybe some students are genuinely good at styling.
yeah,
Maybe some students are generally good at merchandising, picking out.
yeah.
Okay, so there are various branches also to this field.
Yes, and not just this. Like personally, like when I was back in college, we were a group of 6 girls, like a very tight knitted group, and out of the 6 ones, one is working for say a digital magazine.
All right.
One is working with a digital magazine and as a stylist to a very big celebrity. Another is into fashion photography. One has started something in fashion but not clothes. She's into purses. And another is a menswear designer. And now, like, I am a bridal designer. So, 6 of us, our journeys were the same till college, but
But they
everyone has
eventually
picked and
changed.
choose something or the other.
So various branches are there in the fashion industry itself. It's not like you have to start your own
Yeah.
brand and image and
Yeah, like see, because the knowledge is so less, you always think I will start my own brand. But I feel on the go, if till you don't try these internships during your college, you won't know. So many of them have actually done internships with designers and then realize, I don't want to do this. Like, I absolutely don't want to do this. So I feel that explore your options before you actually get into it, because once you're done with college, dive right into the things that you like. You know?
you shouldn't waste
Exactly.
time. So what is the course? I mean, how many years does it take to become a fashion designer? And what are the educational qualifications that you prefer, or that you've seen good aspiring designers have had that educational background?
So definitely, see, I would definitely, as an employer, suppose, if you tell me that evaluate a candidate A to candidate B, I would definitely see that first what college they are coming from. And obviously every college has a reputation, like they are lenient or they are very strict. I would go with a stricter college because I know the girls will be more disciplined there. Another thing is, if a college has, like, if a person has done like a year or a 2 course designing, in that it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah, so 3 or 4 years depending on the duration. Like normally a degree goes with 4 years. A diploma, like a high level diploma, would be 3 years. So you're invested for good 3 years, and you know kind of what you are getting into.
And I think by the end of 4 years, maybe the person, maybe the student has also had his own sense of personal style,
Exactly.
groundedness. So I
Exactly.
think that would help him or her
Yeah,
be
definitely.
a better designer.
Yeah. See, in college, you really don't find your identity back then.
Okay.
You're more like searching for inspirations. In college, you will probably have like your favorite designer, your favorite stylist, or favorite celebrity style. Not knowing who styled the celebrity, like who's dressed them up, but you will have that. But when you actually get into it, you'll understand what is your style. Like you might just like a Manish Malhotra, or you would love what Sabyasachi makes. But are you going to wear it? And if you're going to wear it, then that's your style. Okay, so not necessarily. I love Manish Malhotra and all those kind of designers, but given tomorrow, if I have to, wear a lehenga, I have my own specifications that I want this kind. So I would always look up for inspiration, but I will always have my own personal style.
So where does your inspiration lie? Like where do you take up inspiration? Are there any other fields that you look up to, like
Yeah,
for example?
definitely. I totally believe that if you're just going to copy from another designer, it's not going to make sense. So I very early on, I used to be very inspired by anything geometrical floral.
Okay.
So I realized that whatever I do, maybe it's and at the same time I don't like symmetry. So there's a lot of asymmetrical designs, but in embroidery I work with geometrical florals, and a lot of the inspiration comes from say the Moorish architecture, like Moroccan designs.
Okay.
Also, I love even Persian designs. Like you go to any of the Mughal architect forms in India itself. Forget anything else. So you will see all the beautiful designs. Like they have a very stark design, not just like the window design, but I'm talking about the geometrical jals, and that looks absolutely beautiful when you have your own aesthetic added to it. And honestly, I have worked with one of my collections called Gardens of Alcazar, and that is the Alcazar word is basically from Spain, and it has this one monument, and I just happened to research maybe for a trip or something, and I just went into the intricacy of it, and I'm like, whoa, that the designs were amazing.
So that travel maybe inspired you for your own collection, and
Yeah,
that's how
even
you
though I've
came up
not
with.
gone to Spain yet, I wish to go. But when I was searching, I realized I love these designs, and I kind of added to my mood board. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Out of this, maybe one or two geometrical jals I can use for my own inspiration. So that's when, the texturing and everything came in my designs.
So I think fashion students who are also studying fashion designing, they should also to find inspiration. Generally, where do you go? You go to these fashion magazines, or you'll see some other designers. But I think this is a very good a very good journey through architecture. You're going through forms and then studying. So I
Yeah.
think you're talking about ancient
That's my
Rome,
inspiration.
ancient Spain.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that personally is my inspiration. Not everyone gets attracted to that. Some people would, randomly pick inspiration from nature. That's one of the most common things.
Common things.
Like, flowers and this and that. But everyone's way of looking at a thing is very different. You might just look it as a flower, but I will probably look it as a silhouette to my dress. Like the layering of the petals could be the layering in my skirt. But you have just thought, okay, this I could use as an embroidery. So it's also very different and subjective of how you looked at things. So inspiration is all around you. It depends on what is
What
your
your,
what
correct.
is your liking and what inspires you.
Nice. What is you just mentioned the word silhouette. Like
Yeah.
what is the silhouette?
So silhouette is basically the outline of a design. Sorry, outline of a design. Okay, so suppose a lehenga. Okay, it's everyone knows a lehenga is like a triangular design. So that's the silhouette. So
Okay, so that's
outline of
I
a
think a
design.
true shape of a
Exactly.
okay.
So
The true
when you say
shape of a
flowy
cloth.
silhouette, so that means, it's just flowing. It does like water. Like it'll just flow. You might have like A-line. So A-line is, so these are just common terms that I'm using for people who don't know. But there are many kind of silhouettes. Asymmetrical, symmetrical, So that's basically the outline of the design. So how eventually you tend to, so these kind of things technically we use in, we define every body into shapes. So there's pear shaped, apple shaped, and every body has its highlights and its negatives. So you hide the negatives and you highlight the positives.
That's how. So I think that's the difference between. I think that's the main difference between a designer and a local master G.
Yes.
Because a designer will actually tell you that this is going on you, this color
Yeah.
is going on you. But again, coming back to clients now, which is why we all are here.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to clients, so see, you can't tell them directly that you have this kind of a body, these are your negatives, these are your positives. I don't think you can tell them that on the
Yes.
face.
Yes.
So how do you deal with that process of client?
So for me, like my journey with the client and getting the order or even coming to a conclusion is very different. Everyone has a different thing. Some people are just very on the face कि नहीं ये सूट नहीं होगा आपको. That should not be the case,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
See, supposing say for example, if I'm a pear-shaped woman, so I don't want someone to just come and tell me that ये तो आपको बिल्कुल suit नहीं करेगा.
Exactly. No one wants to come
Yeah.
to a specialist and hear the negatives. Like you go to a doctor
Fair
and
enough.
if a doctor comes and tells you, you know what, you have this issue. Are come to the solution, na, directly.
Fair
So
enough.
that's my approach with clients. I always highlight their positives. If you go to a makeup artist and they'll be like, आपकी आंखें ऐसी है या वैसी है, you will feel weird.
You will get conscious
Exactly.
there.
But if I same thing, if I mold it in a way where I say, you know what, I can really turn into your eyes into an almond shape, and that's like say a Katrina has it or a Kiara Advani has it. You would feel
Fair.
special.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're telling her, I'm going to work on your eyes. It's the same way I work with my clients. Like if, say they have wider hips, I will tell them, okay, but you have beautiful aligned shoulders. So let's work with an off shoulder and, let's stick to, the fitted silhouette till your waist, and then we give you a flowy silhouette. She does not know I'm hiding her hips. She does not need to know, but she is feeling good about herself at the same time. And I feel that's where the role of the designer comes in, because Master G or someone, or if you're just going to a local trailer, he's just going to be ye nahi acha lagega, wo nahi acha lagega. Or sometimes they don't know
So
only
you don't
what
know.
will
You
look.
just if I had to go to a master G, I would have just gone shown him a picture, a reference photo from
Yeah.
Pinterest, and I'm like, मुझे ये सिलवा के दो.
Yes.
कपड़ा मैं लेके आती हूँ, आप मुझे ये करके दो. But I don't know whether that is going to suit my body type, or I don't
Yeah.
know how it's going to work out for me. So that's when a designer has to step in and sort of
Exactly.
help me
That's
through
when
it.
you go to a specialist, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow any person can be like, ये साड़ी आलिया भट्ट ने पहनी थी रॉकी रानी में shaded वाली.
हाँ.
Okay. चलो साड़ी तो might just look good on you. Any other anarkali. But not necessarily look good. So एक बार बन जाने के बाद you're like, then you will say that आपने क्यों ऐसा बनाया. But it's not that. This thing does not suit you. Then go for straighter fits. ये बोलने वाला कोई नहीं, उसको तो बनाना है, उसको तो पैसे बनाने हैं. आपको ये पसंद नहीं आया तो वो दूसरा बना देगा. But see, when you are going to a specialist, I suggest that normally clients also, 70% of the client, they do listen to the designer because they are paying so much money, first of all. Second, also they don't want to be heard like, being authoritative, basically. So if a designer says, no, my style is this and I'm going to give you this, that's not right. Every person is different. Some people like dull colors, some people like bright colors. Hear them out. Have a one-on-one conversation. It's very important for the designer and the client to be on the same page. So now tomorrow if you come to me and if you say, I will first ask you the brief. What's the brief? What kind of clothes do you like? What are the colors do you prefer? What are the colors in your wardrobe? Existing colors. So you want to avoid those things because, again, you're trying to build someone's wardrobe, right? So you don't want repetitions of styles and colors coming in. After that, I understand what occasion they are going to wear that in. Okay, then they will ask me, what do you suggest? I will suggest, and if in one or two suggestions, if I feel, no, this person does not like, flowy and big, elaborate outfits, every person's style is different. I respect that. Then I have more questions to it. It is the utmost important thing for me to be on the same page. Because what happens is, if I am not on board with the client's idea, and if I make something half-heartedly, tomorrow, chalo, not even half-heartedly, something which is not working within my peripheral vision, I will just be like, आपने बोला था मैंने सिला दिया, मैंने ये बनवा दिया.
But then that's not who a designer
Exactly.
is.
At the same time, if they are not on the same page, or if their vision is not clear by the end of our discussion, I will make the outfit. And because obviously we are not on the same page, there are some things that she's not going to like. Okay, so she will be like, but I told you to do this. And it's just a blame game.
It's just going to be as complicated it can be.
Rather, if you're on the same page, the work is so much faster because both the visions are clear. Everything is on pen and paper. Everything is, at least my process is such, I write everything against it. I have a sketch where everything again is written if there's any detailing. And as soon as the client goes, everything is shared on WhatsApp. So after 2 months when she comes, her memory also cannot be blamed on.
Yeah.
कि ये तो बात ही नहीं हुई थी. So it's very important. And client is going to get you money. So client servicing has to be. 2-3 गालियाँ भी खा लो. If they are rude, just, it's okay. You don't need to show your attitude or anything, that you are the designer.
You definitely cannot keep that kind of ego.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That's a
because
basic
it's
client.
word of mouth. Yeah, it's
It
word
could
of
be in
mouth.
any industry, not just fashion. Any industry.
Like sometimes you need to take a step back because it's the client who's going to get you more clients. You're right. It's word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
And so talking of word of mouth, what about how's your journey with marketing? Like how important do you think marketing is when it comes to, or hiring a person who's going to do this for you?
So see, I'll tell you, like, I am a person right now, I'm handling the creative side, marketing side, business side, everything.
Okay.
I do have my helps and I do have my teams and all where I just have to explain it to them. But if you really want to grow, marketing is the most important thing. Because word of mouth is still slow.
Okay.
If I'm making something for you, 2 months के बाद आओगे, आप next occasion में जब जाओगे, someone will compliment. It's like 6-7 months past right there. So till then, तो I need my business. Marketing is one of the most important thing. उसमें भी digital marketing right now is very important.
For fashion designing.
Exactly. Even if you don't have a website, even if you don't have any elaborate marketing agency, just posting on your own on Instagram is important. I struggle with it a lot because sometimes what happens is, everyone knows in Instagram also, Facebook, you have these particular hours or time where, your audience is at the peak. Not necessarily I am there, even if you can schedule posts. So I had kept honestly, I had kept an intern for that who could just post. But content creation is my thing. So again, creatively, you have to talk to her and all that. And trust me, I was so happy with my intern that time. My life was so much more simpler. And I could feel that, okay, this help is really needed. Someone else doing. You should be knowing what they are doing. You should be knowing.
But one should, you would advise
Have the
someone
knowledge,
to hire a person
I would
to at
say.
least be
You
a
can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
Your clients need you more than the market. Marketing can be left on some.
But at the same time, it's important as well.
Yes, yes.
Especially, so I'm talking about my field, interior designing. So how our field works, for us, marketing, definitely, yes, it's important. But Instagram or Facebook will never get us clients.
True.
Because it's a little more on the budget side and nobody wants to trust their own personal space with someone random from Instagram.
Right.
But I think in this sector, in the fashion sector, I think that's not the case. People now do trust Instagram, Facebook
for smaller ticket value stuff.
Okay.
Definitely. So if you're selling something under 5K, it easily sells.
It easily sells.
But for bridal, I feel like if someone has referred me, 50% the trust is there that no, she gives good service, she gives. Then it just comes down to the choice. कि इसके वहाँ पे लहंगा पसंद आया, कि साड़ी पसंद आया, कि नहीं. Okay, so that also works. But it is very important to showcase your work on Instagram, even with the fear of copying, because you never know. So I'll tell you, randomly, I have got clients contacting me from US and Australia, and I have never even advertised them. And I have absolute no idea. And I asked them, like, whose reference? They just said, I found you on Instagram. So Instagram is becoming like a new Google for searching for new brands. Because ek point ke baad na, no one wants a copy of designers anymore. And it's right now looked down upon. And I totally agree it should be. Because if one person is making, there's no need of the other person to make it. Okay. Everyone knows that, okay, you know what? Isne copy pehna hai. Like, you know. Right? So it's now the focus of the industry is changed into what different are you offering? What is the unique thing? And I want to wear something unique. That's why now if you see the latest brides, the celebrity brides are having names of their husbands on their dupattas, or
they probably have, I've seen, they probably have stories written,
Yeah.
you know, where they met and
Exactly.
how that
That's
happens.
what I'm also into.
So you're customizing.
Yeah, I customize, and a lot of people. So I made my own lehenga, which was a love story lehenga. And it was such a personalized journey. I know there's a very prominent designer who's done it. But it's not like I copied her design or anything. It's the idea, right? But the entire design part of it was mine. Everything.
But the entire storytelling is also different.
Exactly.
When it comes to
Like, my story was worth telling to the world, and I wanted to show it. And I wanted to be different. And at least in the circle, no one had done that. And then when people came to me with a normal idea, I would just suggest this. And trust me, 50% of my clients have really loved it, and they've gone for love story lehengas. In different designs altogether. Not the same design as mine. Different designs. But it really works. So I am giving them something which is, you know, not mass produced, not off the rack. And at the same time, it's only for them. And that lehenga is only going to be unique to them. No one
That's
else
the
will
quality
be
that
ever
you
be
are
able to wear it.
offering to your clients.
Exactly.
That's how you actually make your own personal brand, your label.
Yes.
Also, what's your mission? Like, what's your vision when you, like, how do you see your brand growing? Like, what's the vision?
So I'm primarily into the bridal sector. That really gives me joy. So I definitely want to get into the bridal thing. And trust me, I didn't start with bridal.
Okay.
Nor did I do internship with a bridal designer. And it was not my vision from the start. It's just the way I, flow. Like, I just went with the flow. And during my wedding, I realized that. Then after my wedding, another friend came to me and, she got her lehenga made. And trust me, when I first showed her the lehenga for the trial, not her, but her mother had tears in her eyes and she hugged me instead of the daughter. That's how special it was for her, that you made my daughter's lehenga so well. And, the happiness. So it's not... So this is the creative happiness that every designer looks. I'm not just about commercial.
So I think that's how you molded yourself into this, the bridal
Exactly.
sector.
So then I realized that this really gives me happiness.
Yeah.
So
you found the purpose of your...
Exactly. And also like making every lehenga very, unique. Because I don't know, from the start, I don't like a very mass-produced thing. So that is a characteristic I've identified for myself. I would rather buy something really wacky and
brand.
different. Exactly.
That's the story of your
Even
personal
my day-to-day
brand.
clothes, I will look for something which, there's a reason I don't buy from Zara, H&M. I mean, obviously, if I have to, I will. But for the longest time, I didn't shop from there. Not because Zara was like expensive or anything. Nothing like that. Can afford and all that. But it was because every second person started wearing it.
Yeah.
Thinking that is the fashion everyone is following. It's an international fashion. But I would rather not wear it because everyone has it in their wardrobe. Like there was a party where literally 2 people came with the same shoes and I'm like, okay, this is something I don't want.
This doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I think in the field of fast fashion, like now rapidly changing trends, like, also very easy is nowadays that things get outdated very fast.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, she's still wearing that.
Yes.
But again, I think that should also sort of change. But I think designers, their job is to, I think, stick to their personal brand, but at the same time keep changing with the trends. Like, what do you suggest? Should they keep changing with the trends, or should they stick to their own personal brand till it makes a mark?
I'm a person, I think that it is not necessary to, follow fashion blindly.
What is your take on fast moving fashion and rapidly changing trends, and at the same time being sustainable, being a sustainable brand?
Okay. So, like in Indian wear industry, I'm talking about specifically, the trends do change. And earlier it used to be 10 years, then 5 years. Like, how pehle anarkali aaya, to it stayed for like good 3-4 years and then it changed. Right? Now it's changing every year with every season.
Correct.
What I follow is, I don't blindly just follow कि ये trend है अभी चलो इस पे पूरा designing करते हैं. I don't do that because somewhere I have to be true to my style, and my style, my aesthetic is my brand. Right? So it becomes utmost important that I take the trends in, but I work on my style. It has to be like a balance. So tomorrow if someone is looking at my brand, they should not be like, "Arey, abhi, what is this new thing? Kya bana diya?" types.
Yeah.
There has to be a link where it's like a brand recall also. So it works that way. So I do not blindly follow. Going to sustainability, I don't call my brand sustainable. It takes a lot of time to attain that, and a lot of money also. So what happens in sustainability now, every Tom, Dick and Harry brand is calling themselves sustainable by just having very earthy tones, or using cottons and all that. Actually organic cotton is cotton yarns made, cotton grown without fertilizers. And how are you going to go farm level? So only if you know the roots of it, then you call your brand sustainable, or of that sort. But there's a lot of money that goes behind it, and I personally don't have so much, and I don't call my brand sustainable. But what I do is I'm ethical.
Okay.
I'm ethical in my practices. Like for me, being ethical is, first of all, if I'm using pure fabric, I will tell the client. If I'm using impure fabric, I will tell them. The charges are also the same. Second, for me, I know that I support a lot of families of my labors. They are dependent on me. They are dependent on my work and the amount of work I give. So I try giving them enough work that at least उनको weekly जो minimum wages मिलता है वो तो हो ही जाए, even if I don't have work. Second I follow is timely payments. So in my industry it's very very common that ये मैडम ने पैसा नहीं दिया, वो ब्रांड ने पैसा नहीं दिया, 1 महीने तक लटका दिया. Why are you doing business on someone else's money who's in complete need of money? So I follow Saturday payments policy. Every Saturday at the end of the week we sit and calculate कौन किसने कितना काम किया है, and the payments are made. The only thing I don't do, that is only for the organization factor, that you have to have certain rules for your brand and your company. पहले people used to ask, मैडम पैसे की ज़रूरत है, Tuesday को दे दो. Whatever I've done Monday, Tuesday का काम. What happens is it becomes a hassle for me also to tell my accountant disperse, write it in the entry, then वो minus करो Saturday को. It becomes a tedious process. So now it's a firm policy कि Saturday हो जाएगा, but मिल जाएगा. 8 o'clock in the night तक तो आपको मिल ही जाएगा. So I follow ethical practices.
So somewhere even your laborers also know, they can also trust you in a way.
Exactly.
So they won't mind doing that job for you because they know कि ultimately Saturday तक तो आ ही जाएगा.
Yeah.
So this issue even I think in our field also we face.
Yeah.
That we don't get timely payments. We don't have our structure is not such. But does the same structure apply to clients as well? I mean, this is your part of labor.
Definitely. See, I am paying them weekly. I need, I cannot be like, आप कभी भी payment कर दो. I also need a surety that now they've given me an order. Are they going to stick to it? So I will be taking 50% advance at the stage where they confirm their order. Post that only we start working on their order. Till then we don't.
Okay.
And if she's picked it off the rack or it's just going out for delivery, that day full payment is done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's how. So that is maybe your idea of sustainability. Okay, maybe we are looking forward to being a sustainable brand,
Definitely.
but not as of now.
Yeah.
And this is your idea of sustainability, that at least we can be ethical with our job.
Yeah, see, sustainability, I would say that there are many aspects to it. Like when we put our fabrics for dyeing, I know wo pani, ye wo, but I have not reached that level where, I would be using that kind of systems, right? So what we do is ke, chalo jitna bhi kapda bacha hai, maybe if it's even a small chindis, you can do so much out of it. Make scrunchies out of it. Take these fabrics, make it color coordinated, different fabrics, stitch it up, make a cushion cover out of it. That all we do from our end.
Okay.
Also, sometimes, you have inventory. Not everything sells. So we try selling it in sale or whatever. Less price. We do that. If it does not go, till it's in a proper shape, what we do is we donate it to anath ashrams, where there are so many girls who are, about to be married and they can't afford.
Yeah.
So that's what we
that's
do.
maybe your step towards sustainable.
Or society repayment. I don't know, like something.
So that's how it works.
Yeah.
But again, so yeah, talking of, donation and charity, nowadays fashion is like fast moving and everybody wants everything off the rack.
Yeah.
Maybe two people are wearing the same outfit at the same place.
Yeah.
So what is your idea? Like being a designer, I think that's like a fashion police disaster. How does that work? Like for you being a designer?
So, see, that's when, all the unique lehengas and all that we were
Yeah.
talking about, that works there. Definitely, it's a disaster. But abhi, if you're a very big designer, you're going to have two people kind of wearing similar clothes and all. But I feel it's a very brand to brand difference. Like Anita Dongre or someone will not be able to have control over it. But me being a small brand, I know that मैंने अभी ये design काफी कर दिए, तो personally only I kind of change the color, the embroidery, even if I keep the silhouette the same. Because I work really hard on my embroideries. But silhouette is something which थोड़ा common होते हैं silhouettes, which works everywhere. So वो भी हम करते हैं.
So like in a minute, would you like explain like a day in a life of a fashion designer? Like, I mean, see, students are working.
Yeah.
They are aspiring students who want to become fashion designer, but they don't know कि हमारा पता नहीं कैसे दिन कैसे होंगे हमारे.
Right.
So, your like what is a day in your life like?
Okay. So the industry starts by 11.
Okay.
The workshops, also like even if you go to any shop, they will start by 10:30, 11. So that way you're a little chilled about it. But now see, suppose if I'm trying to find my creativity, I want that alone time where there's no phone calls. So ideally I start my day around at 8:30 at peak season times where I need that time to be creative. So I do a lot of preparations in the night ke chalo ye kar dungi. Morning it starts with maybe a little designing and also planning that, okay, today I have to go to the workshop, I have to be at the embroidery unit, and I have a client appointment at 4 o'clock. I have to finish everything. So I will be going to the workshop, साथ में embroidery unit. Then I come back, have a client meet. After the client meet, there are a lot of processes like, okay, so dyeing the fabric, usually the dyer comes around 6:37. So I have to keep the fabric ready. So either I tell a person from my team, ke ye cut karke rakho and give it to the dyer, or this has to be done. So a typical day is very hectic, but these are on season times. Bridal में season on season होता है, off season होता है. Otherwise off season is a little more about having your creativity, making your own collection and all. So
working on your own collection,
Exactly.
travel for that matter,
travel for inspiration. Definitely.
So I think that's how off season, on season works.
Yeah.
So I think marriage, because you're into the bridal sector, so the marriage season works at the
Yes.
end of the winter weddings and everything.
Not just the marriage season, also we work on festive wear. So
Okay.
जैसे अगर marriage हो भी रहा है, a lot of trousseau pieces, just to put things in perspective. So those trousseau pieces work for Ganpati, Diwali.
Okay.
So as soon as around June, July hits, we have to be ready with our collection. We have exhibitions to do. So that also becomes very hectic and overwhelming because after an exhibition, you have so many orders that not everything you've prepared. Because as I said, I'm not a mass produced company. So I will have very certain limited pieces and designs in, say, particular sizes. But I always make my pieces made to order as per your size and fit. It's not you won't find a S, M, L in mine.
Okay.
So that becomes very tedious. And trust me, clients come up with such minute changes which won't even matter. But you have to
But
do it.
they do.
But that takes up a lot of your time. And only you have worked with spoken to your client. So only you know. Unless there's an assistant, obviously, who knows this. But sometimes you still have to overlook them. Have they actually fulfilled the client's requirements or no? So that also takes up a lot of time.
So it
Training.
is so for that matter, any business is a tedious process.
Yes.
But for fashion design, this is how
This is the
typical.
tedious
So
part.
it's a season off season work that.
So many times it happens that I have fried my brains at the workshop. I am, I'm furious. But in a jiffy, I have to change the mood for my clients because I have an appointment. I can't go with an angry face.
Yeah.
And that time you will be like, what is this shape shifting happening? Like, literally if someone's working with me or is my shadow, will be like, who is this person? Who is this? Like,
But that's how it has to be. Like you can't
It
be
has
that
to be.
furious with a laborer.
yeah.
You cannot be furious to your laborer also. He'll
But
just run away.
there's sometimes it just angers you. And
Yeah.
you will not probably tell them, but because you've not told them, you would still be angry,
So I think a mental process also
Yes.
would be there. Talking about processes, what is your typical design process like?
My typical design process is I stick to my design aesthetics. So there are certain silhouettes which I know works for my clientele. I work mainly, 80% of my clientele is pear-shaped. And forget my clientele. 80% of Indian women are a pear-shaped body. So I think that way is that what will look good on healthier bodies. Okay, so my all silhouettes are on that. So my silhouettes are kind of similar. Okay, so a lehenga, how much can you change a lehenga? I'll try doing different things with it. Maybe give a layer or whatever. But the silhouette is the same. What I really work on is my embroidery. So my embroidery becomes my USP. And in a bridal wear, embroidery becomes the crux of it. Neatness se leke, the way the design is flowing. Also, in that, the lehenga does not matter. The way the design is placed, like the embroidery is placed, can make you look fat or thin. So it's not just about making pretty flowers or making pretty motifs on it. It's also about the placement. If I give lines on top near the waist is going to look slimmer and you're going to look taller. So that's what we work on. So if to a shorter girl we'll give that, to a healthier girl we'll give that. But a girl who is just normally sized, but just genuinely very fit, I can give big flowers, big motifs,
So I think your even elements of design would be playing a role.
Yes.
So these elements of design and these basic knowledge of lines, shapes, all this you must have taken up in your courses. So in institutes as well. So how was your journey in your institute?
So mine was a great journey. I love my college, and the way they were so strict that we were terrified to go in the actual industry. But when we realized they were so strict because the industry is ruthless. Okay, they are unforgivable. Industry is this. Like if you make one or two mistakes, you're out. But they made us so tough and so careful about things. Also because it it works on their reputation also. As I said, as an employer, I would look into which college you are in, right? So it works with the reputation of the college also. The industry is little less stricter than my college.
So institutes are stricter.
Yes.
Okay.
And I truly believe it's good. It kind of disciplines you, kind of preps you for the industry and the kind of, because trust me, if my teachers had not made me cry back then in college with all the assignments, all the times I had to repeat those assignments because they were not up to the mark, I would have not survived. So it's very important. But one thing to colleges I would request to add in their curriculum is give practical knowledge. And by practical knowledge, I'm not saying go work somewhere. Because then what happens is every student's experience will become different. And they won't come up with the same thing. But certain things like if you're teaching, see in any fashion college, they're going to teach stitching. Having stitching knowledge is good. Tomorrow, as a business person, I'm not going to sit and stitch.
Correct.
I'm going to dedicate my time to earn money. I have to figure out a way. My biggest struggle is working with manpower, right? How to instruct them, how to get what you have thought, through them. So that is one thing. So if they would just for one module or one assignment ask you to, go deal with a tailor, get this exact same thing what you've sketched. And if we are able to do it, if we are able to sit one-on-one with the master
So
G,
that's the kind of practical knowledge that you are
Yes.
suggesting.
not
that-
just by working with a designer.
Like not just by stitching the cloth on your own, but actually making that design work
Yes.
along with the master G.
Delegation of
Okay,
work.
delegation of work has to be taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because eventually for your growth, you're not going to be like, कि मैं खुद कर लूंगी. That is something you're not supposed to teach that, because till you are not delegating work,
You're not going to grow.
going to be free and you're not going to grow. So unless you're looking, obviously everyone's looking ultimately to grow, right? Whether in their jobs. So even if you don't want to start your own brand, but say you want to work as a production designer, where you just have to not even face to face, face clients, but just deal with manpower, getting things done. She's going to struggle hell lot with that. That person is going to struggle कि अभी मैं क्या करूँ ये समझाने के लिए. So colleges are teaching the technical knowledge, but also how to express and get it done from someone else is also important.
And I think that's true for all various fields. That happens with us also. Like when we go to contractors, हमको ये नहीं सिखाया कि कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का डील कैसे करना है.
Yeah.
That we will eventually learn after internship, after doing 5 years of architecture. We'll be like, okay, this is the way to deal with a contractor after working 2 years in the field.
True.
But again, in our curriculum, we were never told that, go and make this on your own,
Yeah.
or deal with a contractor. किसी और से बनवाने की कोशिश करो.
Exactly.
So I think, that's a very good point we should be considering. So to sum it all up, you would recommend someone who's in the fashion design industry to continue their journey and, look up to making their own brand, look up to making their own label, and look up to working with better fashion designers.
Yeah.
And I guess that's how all of us are here in the design industry. And even for aspiring students who want to get into this career. So all in all, you think this is a good career option to
Yeah,
become a
it's-
fashion designer?
It's a great option if you really want to be in it. If you are going to be 100, not just 100, 200% into it.
Okay.
Because this, you might just get demotivated sometimes, but it's a great option.
But someone who's just good at sketching or styling themselves, would you suggest them to take up fashion design? Like you said, when you were in your 8th standard, you used to dress your mom up or
Yeah.
something. So is that enough to get into the fashion design? You feel that little amount of passion which you have back then?
See, I don't think so that little amount would matter. You have to have a great deal of motivation, and only if you are at it and there is nothing that, will be like, acha cholo, I don't want to, you will give up very easily is what I'm trying to say, in this industry. So till you're extremely passionate about it, you are not going, because I feel people think fashion designing is all glamorous. Trust me, it is not.
It is not.
You are going to wear the most simplest, dirtiest of clothes because you're working with the manpower. You're going to be up to date with your clients. But you're not going to attend those fancy parties. You don't have the time for it, honestly. You just don't have time for it. So, see, the industry is very big. Like I said, there is
It's very
styling,
competitive.
very competitive. So there are many fields to it. Evaluate all your fields. See what suits you. What if you are creative, but you are not a person who can deal with clients? I mean, that's your main thing. Then rather show your creativity, probably in, just being a production head. Not necessary you start a brand. Not everyone's journey works eventually I'll have a brand. Because I told you, like, it takes a village to start a brand.
No, but the student who is aspiring to get into the fashion world, he doesn't know what are the different avenues.
Yeah.
Now that he'll hear to us, he'll know the different avenues
Yeah.
here. But ultimately, he is just a tad bit passionate about, say, clothes.
Yeah.
So you would suggest someone to just, go for it. So I think that's the whole
Yeah,
thing what works.
yeah, that works. Passion is the baseline.
Okay.
And then come what may, in a rainy day also, you have to have that motivation to go.
And
if
down
you have that,
down
then
the
go
4
for it.
years, somewhere he'll find his niche,
Exactly,
his or her niche.
Exactly.
Fair enough.